We're here in Vancouver at VRIC 2019, and joining me now is Paul Gill of Lomiko. Paul, let me start by asking you, what index are you trading on and what's your symbol?
Sure, we trade on the TSX Venture under the symbol LMR and on the OTCQX under the symbol LMRMF.
What exactly is Lomiko?
Well, Lomiko is formed as a green materials company. So what we're doing is finding materials that go into electric vehicle batteries, lithium-ion batteries, and clean technology.
So what are those materials?
Well, specifically we focused on lithium, graphite, nickel, and copper.
Yeah.
But really we've not done well in lithium, so we really got a really good property in graphite in Quebec. So that's where our focus has shifted. You'll follow your success, and we found a deposit in that location, and now we're really working on developing it and getting it to a feasibility study.
You're still in the exploratory stage.
Yeah, we've done one resource.
Yep.
We've drilled 125 drill holes in the area.
Yep.
And so we've discovered one particular location that we feel is feasible, but it's just not quite economic. So we want to continue drilling. We found another area that's very high grade, and we'll be able to take that to the resource level. And then once you're at the resource level, you'll probably get some magic numbers, which are, in graphite in the ground about 10% or more, and 10 million tons of material, which will equate to, 1 million tons of very economic graphite material. And graphite sells for about $1,500 per ton. So you can really make a good long-term mining argument with that kind of information.
So project 1, project 2. What's the proximity there?
They're only about 200 meters apart.
So could it be a contiguous find then?
Yeah, it's not quite contiguous because they're both self-contained areas, and they're quite close to surface. So we don't want to join them right now. We did, I think, some definition already. Once the drill holes do the talking, we may be going into a point where they're connected. There is a bit of a lake in between, but a bridge of land as well. And you don't want to go near the water with these resources. You want to keep it away from the environment any area that might cause some environmental damage. But we're very happy to have two self-contained units because you can operate with one, and if you feel that you need to shift to the other one, you can go back and forth. And I think it's very good situation. Because the graphite itself as a material is very much in demand because electric vehicles are becoming more and more prevalent.
Graphite. What exactly are the various applications that graphite can be applied to?
Yeah, well, primarily it's been used in steel making for the last 100 years. So you use it in refractory bricks that would contain heat around steel making. It's used in brake shoes for airplanes and some cars. Very high-end cars, and then also as lubricant. So, and of course, pencil lead. Everyone knows pencil lead.
Right.
But the real growth market has been electric vehicle batteries. What's happened in the past is they've used synthetic graphite, which is created by burning bitumen.
Yes.
And so that's a non-green way of making electric vehicle batteries. So we found a way of converting natural graphite into a spherical coated graphite, which is used in the anode of the battery, which is a perfectly green way of doing it. And it's strange to say mining is green, but it is more green than burning oil.
And we do live in the world where we need the resources of the earth to create everything that is around us right now. Without it, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, absolutely. And I think what we really want to do is look at the future. I've often said that there's three kinds of people in this world. There's people who know what's going to happen, there's people who make things happen, and people who ask, what happened?
Yeah.
So we don't want to be number three. We're here at this location talking to investors who want to know what's happening so they can participate. I want to make things happen. I want to make sure that there's electric vehicles in the future that are going to be not emitting all these noxious fumes. And I think that Canada has a large part to play in Quebec, especially because it has both lithium and graphite.
So we talked about electric cars. How big do you think that market is going to become? Because right now it's less than 3% in North America and less than 0.5% globally.
And those are golden words to investors because we know it's starting. Right now, there is over 60 factories that are being built that are going to make lithium-ion batteries worldwide. So 60 factories mean that you're going to need that much more lithium and that much more graphite. In fact, within the battery itself, there's 15 times more graphite than there is lithium.
There is? I didn't know that.
And people don't know. And it's by volume. But the cost factor of lithium is a lot higher because it costs a lot more. Well, if you have a bigger demand for something, supply and demand dictates that the price will go up. And that's what's happening with graphite right now. We're seeing a major supplier of graphite, which has been China, reducing the amount that they ship to, they export to other people.
Because they're keeping it for internal use.
Because they're keeping it to make batteries which are higher end. So that means there's going to be a shortfall, which means that likely prices will rise. And we don't know when that's going to happen, but certainly...
You anticipated my next question. Yeah.
We don't know when, but Bloomberg put out a chart indicating by 2020 there's going to be a 5 to 10% rise. But in the next decade after that, 2020 to 2030, there should be almost a 15 times more graphite required, and that means that many more mines. It's probably going to need about 5 to 7 mines being created. Right now, there's only one in North America.
There's only one?
Well, we have competition among explorers, and so that's why
not producers.
But not producers. So we know the producer, in fact, is our nearest neighbor. So we're in a very good jurisdiction. If you want to build a great house, you want to build it in a good neighborhood. So that's what's really applied to mining as well. So they're 50 miles north of us, and we're only about 150 miles from the from the city of Montreal and the port of Montreal, which is an international port. So infrastructure is very good. The type of geology that we have is very similar to the mine that's already in production. So we have a lot of good things going for us, and lots of road access. And so what we're wanting to do here is really get off the ground. When we've been, I think, had a major correction in our stock price because of tax loss selling in December. So we're really down at a 3 million market cap, which is very small, one of the smallest in the industry. But we have a growth potential that's really outmatched a lot of other companies that are even 10 times our size.
So you're saying you're a good opportunity right now?
Absolutely. There's no other way to say it. I'm a buyer of our stock, and I've invested in the company. I've spent over 5 years developing the company. Really think this is where we want to be at this point in time. And in the future, as we develop the deposit, we're going to add value to the actual company itself.
So you think you're perfectly poised to be able to take advantage of that opportunity? You say that's coming 2020 and beyond?
Yeah, we think we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're asking people to participate in it because we need shareholders, we need support, but it's a Canadian story that has, I think, a great future.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, sir.
For sharing that with us.
Thank you.